Hey everyone, it's Yvonne Ingleses from the Eating Disorder Recovery Hub, and I'm just going to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook page so that you can actually get notifications of when I'm going live. Now, it's not a very glamorous day for me today. I am packing a shitload of boxes because I'm moving house, and this got me thinking about recovery. Yes, I know, weird connection, but here it is. My thoughts today as I'm packing boxes, and it's really tedious wrapping stuff up and packing boxes away, is that recovery is not always going to feel good. Now, I'm saying this because when I'm working with people, when I'm mentoring them, it's like there's an aversion, and I know I had it too, to not feeling shitty, not wanting to feel like crap. And the reality is that you already feel like crap. So let's be honest about that. When you have an eating disorder, you're not feeling great about yourself, about life, about the world. You're already feeling pretty shitty about stuff. So when you revert back to the behaviors, that's a familiar way of getting through life. Now, when you are in the process of recovery, you're not always going to have fantastic feelings. You are not always going to have, aha moments that feel brilliant, because a lot of the stuff you actually have to become aware of, and a lot of the skills you have to learn to get out of an eating disorder are going to make you feel uncomfortable. So, and the other thing is, they're going to feel monotonous and tedious to over and over again. You might be, say, in therapy, or you might be reading books where they talk about, I know in sessions with my clients, they'll often talk about, well, I've already talked about my situation with my mom or my sister, or this work situation, or a trauma. I've already talked about this. Now, if you need to talk about it once, twice, 30, 50 times, you keep talking about it until you're healed enough that it's not bothering you, that it's not actually impacting your life in the current way it is. So just because you talk about something once, it doesn't necessarily mean you're done with it. So I really want to encourage you to think about that, because I know lots of people that say to me, look, I've dealt with my issues with this, or with this person. And I think, yes, you can talk about it, but if it's still impacting you in a certain way, it's going to dictate you having this eating disorder. So here's the thing. Just the same way I'm sitting here packing boxes and it seems tedious and it seems like it's never going to end, I do know that it will end, and I do know that eventually I'm going to be in my new home, which is where I'm wanting to be. So your destination is not a new home. Ultimately, it's recovery. So being recovered, full stop, which means that there will be an end to it, guys. There will be an end to your suffering with this eating disorder. However, at the moment, you're in the process of it still. And when you're in that space, it doesn't feel good. Okay, it's not going to feel fantastic. And when you talk about something, say you're working, I know I'm working with some of my clients on setting some boundaries and saying no to people, and actually being assertive. And when I'm working on this stuff, it feels horrible. Most of the time, people with eating disorders go into feeling guilty and a hell of a lot of shame for finally speaking up for themselves, and it feels really uncomfortable. They get knots in their stomach, in their throat, they panic. And I think if you can hold on to the fact that it's not going to feel good in the moment, but it will feel better in the end, because you won't keep going to the eating disorder behaviors. Yes, that's right. Doing all the skills that I'm going to keep talking about, you will continue to develop those skills, but you're not going to have them the first go. You're not going to have them down pat that first go. It's not going to happen. So you have to work through the part of it not feeling good. It's not going to. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable. If you're feeling uncomfortable, then you know that you're being stretched, that you're working towards recovery, and that, if you can just hold on to the fact that it's not always going to feel this way, just the same way I'm not always going to be packing boxes, but right now that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that right this second, and it made me think about my final destination is what I want to keep holding on to. For you, it's recovery, okay? For you, it's being free of this eating disorder for good, permanently. But that doesn't come with all joyous moments, okay? And it doesn't mean when you're recovered that you will never have another shitty day and that you will never have another argument or bad situation in your life. What it means to be recovered is that you will have the resources, the internal resources, not to need eating disorder behaviors, not to need food, not to need hating your body as the way to get through life. You're actually going to be able to deal with shit in the way you're meant to, through communication, through actually being active in terms of setting boundaries, saying no, saying yes when you really want to, not being paralyzed with guilt and shame. And that happens when you're recovered. You are free of all of that. You still may have situations where that pops up, but you won't need the behaviors to deal with life. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I just want you to hold on to the fact that it's not always going to feel fantastic, but to be recovered and to not have that shit going on in your head, believe me, it is gold. It is better than anything I could ever say to you. I can't even put in words how good it is to be free of hating myself, of hating my body, of being obsessed with food, with thoughts around when to exercise, when not to exercise, and actually just be. So much silence in my head now. I fucking love it. And what I want is more of that for you. So from my home packing boxes, I hope that you can join us in our membership site at some point. One of our clients in there, she said to me, this is like Facebook for people with eating disorders, but it's private. And I said, exactly. So when you can, please join us over there, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Bye.